Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Push to Pass F1 podcast. This week, we are going to be reviewing the 2025 Japanese Grand Prix, which is this weekend. We had no racing last weekend, so it's good to be back and previewing race weekends, isn't it, Reef?
It's brilliant. Can't wait.
Are you a fan of the Japanese Grand Prix?
Yes, I am. I mean, it doesn't always produce the greatest racing, but as a track, it's mint. It's a nice track on the eye, isn't it? Mm-hmm.
And we've had some decent moments here. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't always produce a 10 out of 10 like other tracks, but it's not guaranteed to give you a clanger, is it?
No, it's definitely not one of the worst tracks on the calendar. It's nice to have a proper circuit as well. Not that many street races, but
it's actually one of the only. Well, it's not one of the only historic tracks, but it's one of those tracks that has quite like a sentimental feeling in it.
Oh yeah, it was. I don't know how long it's been around, but it's been around for a while.
Well, it used to be Fuji, didn't it?
Yeah.
And they when did they get rid of? I think they raced in Fuji in 2008. But I remember like Senna and Prost just crashed every time they came to Japan, pretty much. But so the first bit of news we wanted to talk about today, I don't know if anyone listening might have heard that Red Bull made a decision last week involving young Liam Lawson and young Yuki Tsunoda.
I'm assuming they all heard.
I think everyone on the planet should. They've done the old switcheroo after two races.
Outrageous. I mean, it was expected, but also unexpected. I can't believe that they've actually done that.
100% it only happened because this weekend's the Japanese Grand Prix. If this weekend was Bahrain, they wouldn't have swapped it yet.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would have happened, but I don't think it'd have happened at round 3.
No, I think it would have happened eventually. I just think they would have given him a bit more time, and we potentially would have got to like round 5, 6, 7 before we saw, or like a mid-season swap, rather than we're 2 races in, let's just get a completely new driver in. How do we think it's going to
go? I'd love if Lawson can out-qualify him.
I am dead on nearly expecting that to happen this weekend.
I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if he outperforms him in qualifying and the race.
People have been saying, they were like, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter were saying that I think the good thing for Lawson is that I don't think the two cars have ever been so close together. Like the performance of the V-Carb and the performance of Red Bull have ever been this close. So it's not putting, like, they're not dropping Lawson all the way to the back of the grid. They're still putting him in a competitive car, which he can still actually show some sort of fight in.
Honestly, this is the best thing that could have happened to him, because it gives him the season now to outperform his teammate, which he should be doing, and get some good results, and hopefully show enough promise where he can break free from Helmut Marko and the poor mismanagement of Red Bull.
It's like, apparently one of the things that has been quite widely reported is that Max Verstappen hasn't agreed to the situation, and is like, apparently he wasn't happy with how it's been dealt, and he felt it was a bit harsh. He surely can't have much of a say in it.
Oh no, I don't think he'd have any say. I mean, he can voice his opinion, which I'm sure he's done, but they're not going to really look into that. And interestingly, I heard that the decision was made in Dubai.
Yes.
By Red Bull bosses, but it didn't specify who. So I know that it's been said that it could have been completely out of Horner and Helmut Marko's hands altogether.
Well, I read some. I don't want this to be, because this bit is actually like quite reported. I read somewhere that it had something to do with Honda paying quite a bit to get Tsunoda in the seat.
That's interesting, considering they said that he was on his own now.
Yeah.
That was literally only a couple of weeks ago.
Apparently Helmut Marko said Tsunoda's promotion before home Japanese Grand Prix was purely coincidence.
Well, yeah, of course he says that.
The important role Honda played in Yuki Tsunoda's Red Bull move. I'm sure that there was like a figure of about 20 million floated around somewhere.
Surely not.
I don't think it's the case.
Why would they do that when it was all together pretty much going to happen anyway? It's not like it was a stretch. They paid, 20 million to get him in 5 races early, maybe? Nah, no chance.
Well, this is just a report from Motorsport Week, so take it with a pinch of salt. Reported that Honda was prepared to pay Red Bull millions to grant Tsunoda a drive, and no doubt the Japanese marquee sensed an opportunity with Lawson's future in the balance. Despite suggesting Tsunoda was on his own, Honda was keen to support the Japanese driver with wherever his future lay, even with an Aston Martin Works engine deal looming in 2026. So there is every likelihood that Honda potentially spurred the decision, because realistically, if, say, he gets into the Red Bull now and then Honda joins up with Aston Martin next year, Aston Martin become a front-running team, Red Bull go at the end of the season, look, we don't want Tsunoda in as our second driver. Tsunoda goes, right, I'll go over to Aston Martin. I think it's such a clever play by Honda, if that's true.
I think he should have just waited, because I think that that could happen, and I think that'd be the best thing for him as well. I think a lot of these junior drivers, like Red Bull, are brilliant. They're brilliant for the sport. They're brilliant for all sort of motorsport and extreme sports. But in open wheel racing, their talent management is not good at all.
And what makes it worse is their talent is so good.
Well, yeah, they attract the best talent, and more often than not, at the moment, they're wasting it. For the past 10 years, who really are the success stories?
You can only really point to probably...
Well, it's Max.
Yeah, Verstappen and Sainz are the only ones who've come through.
Yeah, even then, though, I mean, how long did Sainz do at Toro Rosso?
A season? He was at 2017?
I feel like he might have done...
Or did he do 26?
No, I think he did 15 and 16. Got beaten by Max. Well, obviously, Max jumped ship 4 rounds in 16, but he got beaten by Max. And then I feel like 17 is when he jumped to Renault.
Toros made his debut in 2015 alongside Max Verstappen. He raced for Renault in 2018. So yeah, he did 3 years technically. 2015, 16, yeah, 3 years. 15, 16, 17.
Okay, yeah, okay, I'll give them that then.
Apart from that, they, like, obviously Tsunoda's, you could argue he's been successful, considering he's been on the grid now, what, 4 or 5 seasons?
Yeah, but then I'd bring in, if he wasn't Japanese and he didn't have the Honda back in, would he have still had 5 years at that team? I'm not sure if he would have.
Arguably, would he have got in the first place?
No, I think he did enough. That F2 season he had was impressive.
Oh yeah, 100. Like, he looked in that F season, he looked like mighty quick, and he looked like someone who could have promise. But the problem for me was F2 at that point in time it wasn't of the highest quality, and I think we saw that with the way that, like, Mick Schumacher struggled when he came in. You know, he won the championship and then came in, albeit he was in a Haas, which was an absolute dog of a car, but he still really struggled.
Yeah, no, that is true. It wasn't the strongest, and if you look to see what the other front runners have gone on to do, like Callum Ilott, we spoke about him last week, Robert Schwartzman, that none of them have, you know, paved the way into F1, which is, you know, but you can only race what's in front of you.
Yeah, but I am excited to see Yuki in the Red Bull. I think he is the type of driver who will like that challenge, but I'm also scared that he could potentially try and prove himself a bit too much and go back to, like, old crashing Yuki.
I think that might be what happens.
Yeah.
He's already said that he relishes in the challenge. He wants the challenge. He wants to prove people wrong, which is great. It's the mindset he's going to need. But I can't see him getting much success at all, to be honest. I think even if by the end of the season he's in the top 5, like getting top 5s, that can be seen as a success.
Yeah, I think, like, he's already shown us plenty of you know, speed, talent, just raw pace this year, and he's been unlucky on occasions. And I think being with a more senior team like Red Bull will help that, with the likes of strategy, with decision making and everything. I think that will help his cause. It's just whether he can transfer his pace from the V Carb over to the Red Bull is going to be the main question.
It is, but I think it's proven that RB is an easier car to drive, and for someone like Yuki who's only ever driven that car, he can't come into that Red Bull seat with vast experience even though he's had 5 years in F1, all in the same car, I can't see him being able to transfer smoothly.
Well, it does look like they're going to make that transfer a bit easy for him, because Red Bull are actually running 4 V-Carb cars this weekend. I don't know if you've seen, they've all decided to go white.
Oh, yeah.
You look so confused.
I really wondered what you meant there. I thought you were trying to get me with some April Fools or something.
No. So, yeah, Red Bull have brought back the White Bull from... When was the last time we would have saw that? 2021 Turkey?
No, it was last year, wasn't it?
Did they?
Didn't they do they did like a Japan livery last year?
Red Bull Racing White Bull. No, I think the last time they would have done it would have been 2021. Yeah, 2021 and then 2025. Because they did it to mark the 60th anniversary of Honda's first victory in Formula 1.
Oh, right, okay.
Don't know why they're doing it this year. Or was that for this year? Which Red Bull are we on? Is it the RB21?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this weekend's look is to celebrate the 60th anniversary of Honda's first victory in F1, and the design concept is a tribute to the RA272, which gave Honda its inaugural win in 1965.
Fair enough.
Have you seen the car?
No.
It's that.
Oh, wait, sorry, I thought you meant the bloody RA65 or whatever you're on about.
Yeah,
mate. Oh, no, I've seen
a car from like 60 years ago.
Yeah, I was just going to say, no, I've not seen that. But yeah, no, I've seen the Red Bull livery. I like it. It's nice.
Is it better than the original White Bull? The old 2021 one?
I'd have to see it. I'd have to have a back-to-back.
2021.
From memory, doesn't the last one have more yellow in it?
So last time they kept the red of the red. They kept the yellow of the outline for the Red Bull.
I like both,
and
but
they use a lighter red
for like the Japanese touch. I do like it. I'm a big fan.
I prefer the new one.
Saying that,
I think that the darker red they've used and the more black they've used looks
Haas wins best livery for me.
Haas's livery should not be safe on the internet.
It's so nice.
That is naughty.
So well done, I think.
Do you know what I really like about it? The Haas written in pink and white.
Yeah.
It's a really subtle and stupid touch, but I hate the Haas being in black.
Yeah.
Like
it's a shame that the MoneyGram's still red, but it works still because pink and red complement. Otherwise, I don't think the livery would look half as good. But I do wonder maybe if it's probably for branding reasons, but if MoneyGram allowed them to like make it white, or I don't know if pink would have worked as much. I think that might have been too much pink, but just kind of toning down the red of the MoneyGram might have looked cool. But it still works. I think it's still the best livery.
I love a one-off livery.
Yeah. If they release merch, a t-shirt's getting
we will be there.
A t-shirt's getting copped.
I'm trying to think of other one-off liveries we've had. There was the
Red Bull won last year for Miami, didn't they?
Yeah, there was the Senna McLaren last year when they're in Monaco.
Yes.
That was quite nice.
That was cool.
McLaren do quite a lot, don't they? Because they do it across IndyCar as well. They had the white one.
No, I like McLaren changes it up. I like it.
Yeah, they had the white one in 2023, and they had their chrome one, didn't they? They brought back, which I didn't like because it was chrome and orange.
Yeah, but the chrome's cool.
The old Mercedes McLaren chrome Vodafone cars.
They were so clever though with this. Obviously one of their main sponsors is Chrome, Google Chrome. So they were very clever with all that.
But that Haas livery is...
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Haas have... Even if it's between liveries or one-off liveries, their design department, fair play to them, they get it right a lot of the time.
Yeah, we spoke about Haas liveries before, haven't we?
Yeah, we said they had...
They had one that you really didn't like.
Yeah, the weird grey. I didn't like the rich energy one.
Even then, I don't mind them. They certainly could be worse. The Russia one was a little interesting.
I think the Russia one was controversial, but I still liked it.
Well, yeah, you can't really go wrong with red, white, and blue, can you?
No, and people were like, "No, it's not Russian, it's American," and everyone was like, "No, it isn't. It's really Russian."
Not with a Russian sponsor on the side of it,
and a Russian driver.
Yeah. Well,
sorry, he wasn't Russian. He was unanimous.
Yeah.
That was when you couldn't say Russian. Other news going into this weekend, we have rookies in FP1. We have First of all, Victor Martins has joined
Williams,
which is he was Alpine.
He was Alpine. Good move for him. I don't know if he'll ever get a shot in F1. To be honest, this is I want to say is his 4th year in F2.
This is my issue with F2 at the moment. He won the year he came in. He won the best rookie, and then he struggled ever since.
A lot of it's been bad luck, to be fair.
Yeah,
and also that ART are a good team, but I always question them because there's always a disparity between their first and second driver. And I'm a Ritomo Miata fan, and him being in the second driver, I hate.
Why can't
But he came up as, I'm pretty sure he was Formula 3 champion.
Yeah, he won it the year. I want to say the year Piastri won.
2022.
F2. I think Piastri won F2 and Martins won F3.
Sorry, I tell a lie. This is his 3rd year in F2.
God,
so he's had 2 full seasons. He's done all right, 5th and 7th, wins in both seasons. But I don't know if like the 3rd season's always tricky. Like you look at someone like Drogovic, he had 3 seasons, and it doesn't look like he's going to get a seat in F1. To be honest,
that's mental to me because Felipe Drogovic is a world champion.
He is a world champion, but also, as I said, it was in his 3rd year,
and also that was back when the field wasn't the greatest, was it?
That might have been the weakest F2 grid.
Yeah,
I think that was weaker than 2020.
So that's not this weekend. So that's for Bahrain. But this weekend we have Ryo Hirakawa is stepping in for Alpine for FP1. I've not realised how stacked their Alpine's reserve.
It's like 4 of them, isn't it?
It's Hirakawa, Paul Aron, Kushmani, and Franco Colapinto.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I thought. So the other one is Dino Bogdanovic is stepping in for Ferrari for FP1 in Bahrain, but I thought he was stepping in this weekend. But none to worry. The other bit of news this week was involving Lawrence Stroll. He wants to buy out he basically wants to buy more of Aston Martin. I think it was reported he wants to buy. Yeah, so he's offering to buy out the rest of his stakeholders, so basically he can just own more of it.
So how much percentage-wise does he have at the moment? Is he majority or is he still...
He acquired a 16% stake in Aston Martin as a car brand. Basically, this is saying Aston Martin will no longer own a stake in Aston Martin F1 team. So I think that means Stroll pretty much wants to buy it. Stroll, through his U-Tree consortium, has since increased his stake in Aston Martin company, is set to do so again, coming in a further £52.5 million into the business. The proposal will see U-Tree consortium increase its stake in Aston Martin to approximately 33% by acquiring 75 million in new shares. Aston Martin will also sell its £74 million minority investment in the Formula 1 team as part of a plan to increase the luxury car maker's liquidity. So basically, I think
a third of Aston Martin.
Yeah, so more power to the Strolls.
Yeah, but we're on the big Lance Stroll hype train of going somewhere else and anything but F1. I saw a video yesterday of him test driving a rally car. And I don't know how old it was, but he was in like a, you know, the Citroens they use?
Yeah, like the DS3s and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
And he was ragging it. So I don't know if this was recent or not.
Weirdly, it is quite seen of that as like people who grow up in like snowy sort of cultures and like countries tend to be good at rallying, you know.
Oh, the Finns.
Yeah, like Bottas has done rallying quite a few times in the off-season. Kimi left F1 to do rallying. Obviously, Robert Kubica did it years ago. So yeah, I can sort of understand why Stroll would be decent off-road in that sort of sense.
Yeah, I have just had a look, and it was in February. So it's recent, but it's not...
That's recent enough.
It's not as recent as yesterday when I saw it.
It's only 2 months. But... yeah, so Stroll, senior Lawrence, father, taking more control over Aston Martin. I think he is planning like sport domination for that team.
I mean, he can plan all he wants. I don't know if he can deliver it with his son at the wheel.
No, and he's got a tough decision to make.
It's not tough though, is it?
Oh, it's not. It's from our point of view, it's not tough. But it's effectively, does he tell his son to jog on? Or
the only thing I'm holding on to is it's still only 33%. As soon as he gets to over 50, we're done.
Yeah, like as soon as he starts literally saying this is Lawrence Stroll F1 team.
I'm hoping that the rest of the shareholders are like, listen, we love the project. We're paying Newey a fortune. We're paying everyone loads of money. We want the best drivers. The first thing we need to do is move Lance on, because that is the next step.
All right, let's jump into Father Lawrence's shoes for the moment. So I think Lance is contracted until the end of next season, I want to say.
He's got 26 contract,
I'm sure, yeah, because I'm sure last year was the first, because basically how Lance Stroll's contracts worked were they were like year-on-year extensions, but everyone knew he was going to get the extension. But I think last year he signed a multi-year deal rather than a single year. I know Fernando, he is in until the end of 2026.
Yeah, he's got the end of 26. Stroll, the wording of Stroll's contract is 2025 and beyond.
Yeah, so
well,
it'll
it's
be
what everyone expects, yeah. But
so let's jump into Lawrence's shoes. What would be your Aston Martin driver lineup for next season?
Next season,
2026 new regulations. I'm going to assume it's got a significant lack of Lance Stroll in there.
Now Yuki's gone to Red Bull, you'd have to assume that he's going to stay at Red Bull. He might not, but we're going to assume for now that he does.
Yeah, I think you sort of have to, because I can't really see Lawson going back to that team. Because like no. we saw it with like the likes of Gasly, he never went back. We saw it with Albon, although apparently Christian Horner did request the services of Alex Albon over the winter, and Alex politely told him no.
If I was Lawrence Stroll, for 2026, I'd have Fernando Alonso and I'd pay George Russell. But that's not going to happen. So if I was Lawrence Stroll, I'd probably keep my son in the team.
I did see an interesting thing, actually. The Pit Stop, I want to call them the Pit Stop podcast. It might be the Pit Stop boys. Do you know the ones on TikTok?
Yeah.
The two lads. They were talking and they said George Russell's contract is up at the end of this year, yes. I think.
That's what I just had a look to make sure, yeah. But yeah, it is.
Surely, if you believed he was the man to take you forward, he would have been like extended by now. Which,
if it's happening, it'll be in the next 3 races, because
yeah.
I've said loads of times now already, I'm not the biggest George Russell fan, but he's been performing really well this year, and if he carries on, then he does deserve a new contract. But if I was him, I would be looking at Aston Martin as a potential sort of positive. I don't know if Mercedes are gonna deliver a car like they delivered Lewis for years.
Yeah, it might just be a case of he looks at it like a short-term negative for a long-term gain, whereas like he might join it next year and they're in like a Alpine sort of position, yeah. Or like where they can regularly fight for points and he might get the off podium, and then 27, 28, he starts to get a bit further forward.
If you think about it, right, it's a bit like when Hamilton left to go to Mercedes. Mercedes/McLaren in this situation of the parallels. McLaren were a better car than Mercedes when Lewis Hamilton left, but he saw the future in the project. Yeah. Had a year where they were competitive but not top running, and then obviously like nearly a decade of dominance. You could see like George maybe seeing the future in Aston Martin, signing up early, and then reaping the rewards. I don't know. I think it's interesting, and I'd love to see it. I think it'd be great for the sport. That'd
be a hell of a driver lineup. George Russell and Fernando Alonso.
I don't know who they'd go to replace Fernando after 26, because he's got to go, just purely based on age and stuff.
I think surely then you've got to look at like you've got to try and find some sort of junior answer, haven't you? Like, I don't think their answer is going to be Dragovic.
You'd like to think so, but at the same time, it all depends how George develops.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's got first driver potential now. He's really kind of stamped his authority on this year regarding Mercedes. Admittedly, his teammate is 18 and a rookie, so it's not like he's going up against a seasoned vet and he's outperforming him. But his performances have been really good, nevertheless.
I just think a move. So I think Aston Martin with Adrian Newey coming in this season, they just need something new. They need something different, and there's a case you could say of potentially swapping out Fernando as well. But I think the best case scenario for them would be to keep Fernando in as like a steady pair of development hands, and then just bring in someone exciting. Like if they had this situation last year, someone like a Carlos Sainz would have been a great addition for them. But obviously they don't have that option now. And like you said, I think a George Russell who, if Mercedes don't put their effort into him and don't commit to him, I think he's going to start to look elsewhere. And I think a contract and a project like an Aston Martin would be something he could borderline not turn down.
That's the most compelling project on the grid, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, there's not many other teams which you can go, they're guaranteed to go on the up.
Just look at history and look at who Newey's worked for and look at the success the team's had. It's not a coincidence. He's been in the sport for over 20 years. Every time he's worked for a team, they've done well. It's going to happen to Aston Martin. Money's not an issue. Engineers aren't an issue. The only thing that's the issue at the moment is time, because they've not been given time, and their drivers, or their driver.
Adrian Newey has 12 constructors titles and 13 drivers titles to his name.
Proof's in the pudding. You can't doubt that.
Yeah, and that's also a case of Lawrence has to be smart, and he has to, like, at some point he's going to have to admit he has to do what's best for the team, and he has to do what's best from his investment. Like, as much as he can say he wants Aston Martin to be a success, you know, the amount of money he's pumped into it and the amount of, you know, just all the effort he sort of put into the team, he's got to see some sort of return, and the only way he's going to get that is, unfortunately, by giving his son the boot.
Yeah. Just circling back quickly, and then we'll move on. You asked me what I think he'd do. He's going to keep the same driver lineup for 2026.
We're going to see endless amounts of just this constant back and forth, it seems, between teams and everyone in the media of, you know, this year could be the year that we see something different with Aston Martin. This year could be Aston Martin towards the front. Aston Martin could be the best of the rest. All of this, and then it turns up to the first round of the season and they're nowhere near, and we go, well, they've always got an extra.
Constant disappointment.
So,
we both went to move on at the same time.
You can do it. Go on.
I thought we'd jump into our predictions for this weekend.
So, should we do our usual... How did we do it last time? Last time was a sprint weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah,
different.
This isn't a sprint weekend, is it?
Good. Let's do...
We'll just...
Poll.
We'll do poll.
Top three.
We'll do surprise performer, bad performer, or something like that.
Yeah, surprise performance, bad and good.
Yeah.
And then random prediction.
Cool.
So, who is your pole position?
I'm going to go... Pole position will be Oscar Piastri.
Oh, you nicked my idea. I will go pole position George Russell.
Oh, I like it.
I think he was very close in China, and I think he's a man driving on confidence, and I think he could potentially start to, as incredible as it sounds, he could continue his world championship bid of picking up P2s and P3s.
Honestly, yeah, because he's going to be more consistent than Norris and Piastri.
Talk me through your Piastri pick.
Running high on confidence, fastest car. I back him. I mean, it's an obvious pick, isn't it, really? but I back him.
Oscar Piastri. He is going to be special, isn't he? So, P1, P2, P3.
P2, I'll go Leclerc.
What, in the race?
No, I thought we were doing qualifying.
You want to go P2, P3 qualifying?
Yeah.
Go on then. P2. You've got Leclerc P2?
Yeah.
What the heck? P2, I will go with Oscar Piastri.
And P3, I'll go Norris.
P3, I'll go Max Verstappen.
Interesting.
I think he's just going to do another max performance of dragging that car to a stupid heights where it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Charles Leclerc P2.
Yeah, why not?
Are you okay?
I don't know. They got pace, just not race pace.
Oh, have you seen what Fred Vasseur said as well? He said the likelihood is these disqualifications are going to be like more and more frequent this year.
Mm-hmm.
And like he could say he was like, we're going to see like 50% more disqualifications.
We did say that, didn't we?
We're the goats.
Yeah.
Race predictions. Who do you think is going to come third?
Oh, it's so hard to predict. I think that George Russell will come third.
I'm not going to go Kimi Antonelli. P3. I'm going to go with Charles Leclerc.
All right, so it's all right for you to put him in the podium positions.
Yeah, because I've got a bold prediction. P2.
P2, I'll go Max Verstappen.
P2, I'll go Max Verstappen.
Okay.
P1.
I'm going to go with Piastri.
I'm going to go with George Russell.
Interesting. Cool.
Because my bold prediction is McLarens will crash
Both
into each other.
Okay, fair enough.
I think that's just me trying to manifest it just to cause some sort of spark at 6 o'clock in the morning. But no, I can see like into turn one, that long looping corner. Piastri sending one up the inside and Norris just cutting him off, and then bedlam on social media and everyone wants to kill each other.
I mean, yeah, crazier things have happened. I think if people watch this, they're going to hate me because I just underrate Norris constantly.
Yeah, you've put Norris out. Did you put him in the top 3 for qualifying?
Nah.
Did you put him in
I did. Yeah, did I? Yeah, I put him third.
Right. And you called him overrated last week.
Yeah. Some would call it an agenda. I call it W wheel knowledge.
I call it big brain. What's your crazy prediction for the race?
My crazy prediction for the race is I haven't seen the forecast and I don't know what season it is in Japan.
I think I read there's a chance of rain.
It's going to rain in the middle of the race.
Wow, what a prediction.
Is it? Nah, but it's going to like thunt it down.
Suzuka. Sunday, yeah, there's a 60% chance of rain.
Oh, it's not a very good prediction then.
No. And I'm pretty sure it's raining at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I'll do a different one then. I thought that was going to be good. Well, it is a good prediction really because I haven't looked at the weather and I'm 60% chance of being right. I'll go with I don't know. I'll go with Lewis Hamilton crashes out.
Oh, I've got him down for like greatness, and you want to kick a man while he's down.
No, I don't.
Disqualification last weekend. Now he's going to crash. You hate Lewis Hamilton.
I don't. This is quite the opposite.
So you've put Lewis Hamilton to crash. I've put both McLarens to crash. Who is your best good surprise?
Gabriel Bortoleto gets solid points.
You've said this now for like 2 weekends in a row and he hasn't scored.
No, but he's going to this time.
We've done 2 predictions and both your good surprises or crazy surprises have been Bortoleto to score points.
Bortoleto is going to finish 8th.
Wow. Haas to score more points.
Both of them.
I'm going to go with both Haas's to score points again.
And I was getting stick. Christ.
We're going to get more Ollie Behrman chows, and Esteban Ocon's going to go on pole.
So yeah, I can see Ocon getting a result.
Yeah, I can see Ocon. I can see them picking up like a P9, P10.
Yeah.
Who's your worst?
I mean, you could say Hamilton. If
I could say McLaren.
if he crashes.
I'm not going to go with McLaren because I feel like that's...
My disappointing is going to be Albon.
Oh, you think his streak's going to come to an end, yeah?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't score points. And I think at this point in his, this season so far, points are to be expected.
Yeah, his expectations he's built.
Yeah, he's moved the goalpost, hasn't he? So,
he's set the bar a lot higher for himself.
So I think, maybe Williams won't score points. I think I'll put that.
Oh God. See, usually I just go with Liam Lawson, but I can't anymore. Because Liam Lawson cannot be a disappointment because he literally has the back of, unless he just doesn't turn up for the weekend. That's the only way he can get worse. My worst surprise of the weekend. Give me Norris.
Norris is the disappointment.
Well, this is purely because I've put him off nothing to do in qualifying and then for him to crash into Piastri in the race.
We're never going to have him as a fan, are we?
We're never going to have him on the show. I used to be quite a big Norris fan as well. It's just... It's not wanting to see someone fail. It's just you can sort of see why people will like prey on people's downfall.
Yeah.
Like I can understand why like a Lewis Hamilton fan has a monumental hate watch for Verstappen.
Yeah.
Or like why a Verstappen fan has a hate watch for a Norris.
I don't know. It's just there's no Norris doesn't do anything wrong particularly.
I thought you were just going to say he doesn't do anything.
It's just I'd prefer other people, and I think he is overrated, and that's not his fault.
Second week in a row you've called him overrated.
That's just his fan base.
It's not his fault. It's just his ability.
Nah, he's a good driver.
What I can take from that is you think Gabriel Bortoletto's going to win the World Championship again. McLaren's going to go into civil war. Hamilton's going to crash. And Norris is still overrated.
Yes.
And I think that's a good... I can't even call that a good place to finish, but I think that's where we'll wrap up today's episode of the Push to Pass F1 podcast. This was our Japanese Grand Prix review for the upcoming race this weekend. As always, are you going to be waking up for it?
Yes, I will this weekend.
6 o'clock in the morning, I will be trying my best.
Yep.
I will try not to fall asleep like China, but I can't have any guarantees.
Nah, I don't. It'll be better than China.
It's not hard.
Yep.
China was a bore fest. But we will be back next week with a Grand Prix review and a preview because we are into a triple header of Japan, Bahrain, and I want to say Jeddah.
I'll have a look.
That sounds correct.
Does sound correct. Makes perfect sense.
Don't worry, we'll cut out this research bit.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, what a good 3 tracks to go to. I'm a fan of Bahrain, Japan, and Jeddah.
Jeddah's a bit.
Jeddah's just good because it usually has chaos and massive crashes.
But then you have Miami after that. Yeah.
But this has been the Push to Pass F1 podcast. We hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to rate us 5 stars and drop us a subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. I have been Max.
I've been Reef.
And this has been the Push to Pass F1 podcast.